Hello, and welcome back to Heart, the podcast where we sit down for a cozy chat about all aspects of love. Have you ever had this feeling? You're sitting right across from the person you love, but at the same time, you feel like they're behind an invisible wall. A wall so thick and so silent that you just can't seem to reach their heart. You ask, full of concern, "How was your day?" Or "Is there anything wrong?" But the answers you get back are usually just, "It was fine, nothing's wrong," or "I'm okay," all while their eyes and their body language are screaming that there's so much more going on beneath the surface. That feeling, it's frustrating, it can make you feel a little lonely, and sometimes it can make you feel completely isolated, even when they're sitting right next to you. Today, we're going to talk about a challenge that I know many couples face: when your partner bottles things up. We're going to try to understand why they might be this way, and what we, as their partner, can do to gently break down that wall without feeling like we're the only one trying. If you're ready, let's figure this out together. Before we try to fix anything, the first and most important step is always to seek understanding. When our partner goes quiet or won't open up about their feelings, our immediate reaction might be frustration, or maybe our minds jump to conclusions like, "Don't they love me?" or "Don't they trust me?" But these thoughts usually just make the situation worse. The truth is, when someone chooses to bottle up their feelings, there are often complex reasons behind it. And more often than not, it has very little to do with how much you love you, and everything to do with them. Let's explore some of the common reasons. First, it could be their upbringing and environment. This is a huge one. Imagine a little boy who was always told, "Boys don't cry," or "You have to be strong, don't show weakness." Or maybe they grew up in a family that just didn't talk about feelings or show affection openly. As they grow up, expressing emotions becomes something they never learned how to do. It feels foreign, awkward, or even shameful. It's not that they don't want to talk, it's that they literally don't know how. A second reason is painful past experiences. Perhaps in a past relationship or friendship, they opened up to someone and were judged, ridiculed, or had their vulnerability used against them. That kind of negative experience creates a deep wound and teaches them a painful lesson. Opening up equals pain. So keeping everything inside becomes their safest defense mechanism. Their silence isn't meant to hurt you, it's designed to protect their own heart from being broken again. A third reason, the fear of being a burden. Some people, especially those who are highly responsible, feel that their problems are theirs alone to solve. They worry that sharing their stress or sadness with you will just make you worry, or that you'll see them as weak and incapable. So they choose to carry the weight of the world on their own shoulders, quietly, believing they are protecting you. In this case, their silence actually comes from a place of love and care, not distance. And a final reason, they simply can't find the words. Not everyone has the same ability to identify and articulate their emotions. For some people, the feelings inside are just a jumbled, gray cloud of chaos. They feel bad, but they genuinely can't put a name to it. Is it disappointment, sadness, anger? When they're in that state, being repeatedly asked, "What's wrong?" can feel incredibly pressuring, so they default to nothing, just to end the conversation. You see, behind that wall of silence, there are so many possible stories. Understanding where they might be coming from can help us shift our perspective from frustration to compassion, and that right there is the very first key to unlocking this situation. Once we have a better understanding of their why, the next step is to take action. But not the kind of action where we take a sledgehammer to their wall. Instead, our job is to patiently create a safe space around them. A space so warm and inviting that they eventually feel safe enough to walk out from behind that wall on their own. So how do we build that space? First, shift from demanding answers to offering an invitation. Stop using pressuring questions like, "Why won't you just talk to me?" or "Just tell me what's wrong." Instead, try using gentler, more open-ended phrases. Something like, "It seems like you've had a tough day. I'm here if you ever want to talk about it." Or even just, "You look tired. Can I give you a hug?" This sends a clear signal. I am here for you, but I will not force you. It removes the pressure and gives them back a sense of control. Second, when they do talk, be an exceptional listener.
This is the most critical moment, the moment they start to open up. Even if it's about something small, your only job is to listen. Listen without interrupting, without judging, and most importantly, without immediately trying to fix the problem. So many people, when they share, aren't looking for a 5-step action plan. They're looking for validation. They just want someone to hear them and acknowledge their feelings. A simple, "Wow, that sounds really frustrating," or "I can totally understand why you feel that way," can be more powerful than any piece of advice. It makes them feel that opening up to you is truly safe. Third, communicate through actions and body language. Sometimes the best communication doesn't involve words at all. For someone who isn't comfortable talking about feelings, actions can speak so much louder. A quiet hug when they come home from a stressful day at work, a gentle squeeze of their hand, making them a warm cup of tea without being asked, suggesting a relaxing activity you can do together, like watching a movie or going for a walk. These small acts of love and support can penetrate the heart more deeply than 1,000 questions. And finally, model the behavior you want to see. Be the one to open up first. Share something about your day or how you're feeling without expecting them to immediately reciprocate. You could say, "I had kind of a frustrating moment at work today, and it left me feeling a little down." Doing this consistently and casually helps to normalize conversations about feelings. It shows them that it's a safe and normal part of a relationship, and over time, they will learn from your example. Creating a safe space takes a lot of time and patience. Please don't be discouraged if it doesn't happen overnight. It's like tending to a garden. You just have to keep watering the soil with kindness and understanding, and when the time is right, the flower will bloom.
We've talked a lot about understanding them and helping them, but there is one other incredibly important person in this equation we cannot forget, and that person is you. Being in a relationship with someone who internalizes everything can be lonely, it can be exhausting, and it can even make you start to question your own self-worth. You might think, "Am I not good enough for them to open up to?" That's why taking care of your own heart is just as important as taking care of theirs. First, you must acknowledge and communicate your own needs. It is perfectly okay to need emotional connection from your partner. That is a valid and healthy need. The key is to communicate it gently, using I statements instead of you statements. For example, instead of saying, "You never care about how I feel," try reframing it as, "I feel a little lonely sometimes when we don't talk about what's on our minds. I would love it if we could find some time to connect more." This approach doesn't sound like an attack, which makes them much more likely to hear you. Second, diversify your emotional support system. We have to accept the reality that our partner may never become the super expressive, talkative person we might dream of. We can't change the core of who someone is. Therefore, do not make them your sole source of emotional fulfillment. Make sure you have close friends, family, or hobbies where you can express yourself and get the validation you need. Having a strong support system reduces the pressure on your relationship and helps you feel whole. And finally, know your boundaries. Your effort and patience are beautiful, but you also need to recognize when a situation is becoming detrimental to your own mental health. If their silence turns into coldness or neglect, if it's causing long-term damage to the relationship, and if they show no willingness to meet you halfway or even try, it might be time for a serious reevaluation. Is this relationship still good for you? Does it still bring you joy? Loving yourself means knowing when to keep trying and knowing when you need to protect your own heart. And just like that, we've reached the end of today's episode of Heart to Heart. Loving someone who bottles things up is like learning a new language. It might not be a spoken language, but a language of actions, of quiet observation, of understanding the meaning in their silence. It requires an immense amount of patience, empathy, and compassion. But at the same time, this journey can teach us to be more intuitive lovers. It teaches us to listen to what isn't being said. And it teaches us that love can be expressed in countless ways that go far beyond sweet words. I want to send all my love and support to anyone who is navigating this right now. Please don't lose hope.
And please don't forget to be kind to yourself through this process. A relationship is a partnership, a slow dance of two people learning to move together. As long as you're both still on the dance floor and willing to try, I truly believe that every wall has a door. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope our conversation has brought a little bit of comfort and clarity to your heart. That's all the time we have for Heart to Heart. Join me again next time as we explore another corner of this beautiful, complicated thing called love. Until then, take care.